I'm Alli. I came out after 20 years of marriage and I have 3 kids.
I'm Melissa and I have 2 kids and I came out at 37 after an 11-year marriage.
This podcast is about coming out later and the struggles and victories that come with it.
When coming out feels like the end of the world, but it's really just the beginning.
This is the Lesbian Chronicles.
Did you find the DM or no?
Oh, I'm already recording.
Oh, welcome to Lesbian Chronicles. Hey.
Hi. What's that song? Hey there, back again. Check it to wreck it. That's how I feel.
That's Whoop, There It Is.
Yeah, there you go. I'm sure I have the words wrong.
And that's the song that I sang last night in karaoke.
Are you serious?
Yes.
What are the odds that I would pick that?
That's hilarious.
Give us a little more of it.
Oh, no, I've embarrassed myself enough last night. It's okay.
Yeah? Oh my God.
Oh God.
I used to make my kids harmonize with me, and I would record us harmonizing.
Really?
Like Zach Brown
Oh
or like Indigo Girls. And sometimes we like legit, like when you sing with someone a song that like isn't hard to hit the notes, I would get so excited and be like, oh my God, you guys listen back. It's amazing. We sound amazing.
But when you listened back, did you sound amazing?
Probably not. I thought we did, but that's because it's them.
I don't know. It's the thing about karaoke though is like it throws you off not hearing the words.
I know.
You know, like
really
I'm
does.
used to singing along with a song.
Yeah.
Then when it's like just the music, my brain can't like wrap my head around it, you know?
Let me tell you a quick story about when we were in Mexico, all of us. Owen is like a huge Selena fan, like massive. Okay?
That's amazing.
He knows everything, every detail of her life, everything. So he's a huge Selena fan. So Maria and I and all 4 kids went to this like karaoke night, and the kids were like, maybe they were going to do it, maybe they weren't. And then Owen was like, he really wanted to do karaoke and karaoke Selena, but it's like to a huge audience. He was so scared and nervous. So Maria's like, you know what? I'll do it with you, man. Like we can both do it together. And I was like dreading it because I knew that I was going to be like secondhand embarrassment out in the audience.
Oh my God.
But they got up there and it was horrific. Like first of all, he picked the worst song ever of hers. Like it was slow and boring and it just kept going. And like the 2 of them, and like Tatum is looking at me like, what the fuck? Like can we
dying.
just leave? Like, let's leave. Everyone knows they're with us. It was like the worst. And when they were walking back, like I was trying to be so positive, but it was like, no one enjoyed it. Not one person in the audience enjoyed it.
Oh my God. That is the worst.
I know. So that kind of set me back on my karaoke journey.
I was going to say, one of the first times I ever did karaoke, I chose to sing Good Vibrations by Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Oh, hell yeah.
Complete with the background vocals.
Oh, you were going to do both?
I did both.
Oh, God.
And oh man, it was bad. I probably should not have been allowed to do such a thing.
I know. I'm like, can we like have people qualify before they get up there?
And that's
like
that's probably like my
level.
toxic trait of karaoke is that I think I can sing all the
Parts.
singers' parts. And that's what I did last night. I rapped a Beastie Boys song called Paul Revere.
I know, of course.
And I love that song.
I do
love
too.
it. But it is literally sang by 3 people.
I know.
And I'm like running out of breath trying to like sing it all myself.
Oh God. And I feel like people feel sorry for the people singing. So it's like this thing where you're sitting there. It's kind of like opening a gift in front of people. It's too much pressure on me to like pretend I think you're good. That's why I can't go to your shows. Because I'm worried, like, what if I don't think it's funny and now I feel this pressure to laugh? People know we're very good friends. They're watching me.
That's
watch
hilarious.
You. It's the opening gifts in front of people. Like,
you would be one of those people that after I got off stage, you'd be like, you were up there on the stage.
You did it.
You did it. Like, there would be
it was terrible, but you still did it.
You did it. You did it. You were up there.
I'm sure I would think it was really funny. It's too much pressure for me.
It's too much pressure on you.
It's too much pressure. It's like Maria will be like, listen, I have a surprise for you. Do you want to know? And I'm like, I need to know, because if I know you have a surprise and it's like coming and I've got to like do this reaction, It's hard for me.
That part is hard. Like I'm not an overreactor. Like I can be
am.
really excited about
Yeah.
something, but I'm not gonna like scream and get all like jump up and down or
Yeah.
anything like that. Like I have never been like that. Even when I was a little kid, I was not like one of those excitable kids. Like I see my kids get excited, like jumping up and down, and I'm like, who are
Yeah.
you?
What are you doing? I actually
Like,
am very excitable. But maybe that's
yeah,
why organically I am very excitable. I'm excited about lots of different things. So it's hard for me if I have pressure to, because people know me as excitable. So it's like if
yeah.
I don't overdo
You've got to
it,
meet that level every time.
yeah, and it's too tiring. I don't want any surprises. In fact, if she ever calls you and wants to do like a surprise party for me,
Say no.
you might want to shut it down. Or just have me have no idea so that I don't worry in my mind how the reaction's going to be.
But also, like with a surprise party, it's kind of like a letdown in some way because, like, leading up to it, you're sitting there thinking, like, wow, like, no one's acknowledged my birthday, like, at all. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have no plans.
Right. And then you're like, what's going on?
Like, yeah, like, why
Yeah.
does anyone like me?
You're like me. I could totally see that. Or like my other thing is like if I'm giving something, I expect like this just happened too. I got Maria, she's a huge Pink fan. She loves Pink. So I got her 2 good tickets to Pink.
Oh, wow. That's
And
awesome.
she was really excited, but she was at work. And so she was
Oh,
kind of like, in my mind, not excited enough. Like, I didn't feel like the reaction was big enough for me. So it was like later that night, I'm like, listen, like, what's up? Like, I want some enthusiasm here around this surprise. And she was like, I am so excited. But it's like, I also expect other people to do it. It's all too much. I need to just not worry about it. But this is my toxic trait.
other people's reactions.
Other people's reactions. Are they what they need to be?
I just keep mine low key every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
That's the best way because then no
There's
one
nothing
expects
to expect
anything.
from
They
me.
just low level depression.
Right,
It's just
exactly.
like- it's perfect. It's totally perfect. Well, I think we're talking about blending today.
Blending and dating.
Blending. Yeah, just how the kids, we can keep it very universal of just how do kids impact all of it universally. And in the dating process, how do the kids impact it? You can speak
I've
to
said
that.
so many times like that I really think that having kids, some people just write you off entirely. Like it's an
Right.
immediate no.
And
And
wouldn't
it's
you
kind of
want to know that?
well, yeah, like I think it's kind of a bummer that people do that, without like knowing you. But at the same time, yeah, it's not for everyone. There's a reason why they probably don't have kids of their own.
Right.
Like they don't want them, and that's fine. I know that a lot of people too, they wonder like, do I put that on my dating app that I'm a mom?
What do you think? And what's your answer to that?
For me, for one, I didn't want to have pictures of my kids on the app.
Mhm.
Like that felt weird to me. But some of them will have a little spot, like either like has kids, wants kids, that kind of thing. So I would put that on there,
Has
but I
kids,
wasn't
wants your kids,
wants your kids. Has kids, doesn't want your kids.
doesn't want your
Uh,
kids. I have
and
my
see, I'm
own,
doing
I
the
don't
same
want
thing.
yours.
Like
Yeah.
I'm writing off dating someone with kids. Although I have said like it kind of depends on like the situation and the ages.
Yeah.
For me, like I dated someone that had teenagers and that was fine. Like I could do that. But someone that has like little bitty kids, like I don't think I could do that until mine are older.
Right. But do you ever think like partly the reason that they may not want your kids is because they don't want to have to be second? Like one of the things I was talking with 2 friends of mine who are divorced with kids is they were saying that like you can't help but have the vibe change. Like I love my kids. She's like, I love my kids. I'm psyched when they're there. But it is not the same when I have this guy over if my kids are around versus not around. So as much as like I'm like, oh, it's so fun, we're all going to watch a movie and have dinner. He's happy to do that, but he probably also is very happy not to have them sometimes
Yeah.
because he's almost competing for the attention. Like she's like, my child wants to sit by me during
Yeah.
the movie. And like that kind of stuff is, I could see where if you're somebody without children and these aren't even your children, you're kind of like, well, this blows.
Yeah, I mean, Marina has said that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like,
Why do I
when
wanna-
we're all hanging out, like the kids want to be like right next to me, then it's like she doesn't get to sit next to me. And I think in some ways too, it almost feels like you're not allowed to have those feelings. It's like, I'm an adult. Like I should be
Yeah,
able to be
exactly.
like, these kids need their mom. But it's like, it doesn't take away from the fact that it is annoying. And
It's
it
annoying,
hurts.
and it makes her the second choice for them. That's
Yeah.
annoying. I could relate to that even with a partner with kids, that I don't want to feel that way. I don't like being his second choice.
However, they choose her a lot.
Yeah.
She gets like the run to the door greeting, like they're climbing all over her. They adore her and want to be around her. It's like, I know that like nothing changes, like I'm their mom, but
Yeah.
I feel like they do give kind of like equal love when we're both there. Or like
Yeah.
I'll be sitting solo on the couch sometimes, and like she's literally sitting in like a chair and they're both on top of her.
So I guess
I'm sure
that
it's super comfortable.
Yeah, that sounds really fun while she's watching a kid movie. So I relate on both. Like I can see where somebody might say, I'm just not into that. Because it's like, I want someone who is completely focused on me.
And even like, watching TV together, like you said, like you're having to watch like a kid show. Like we do try to like compromise on something that we can all watch. We usually do like some sort of like, cooking, baking competition show. Is It Cake? They love that one.
Yeah, I like that too.
Abbott Elementary is also a really good one, like that we can all watch. Have you watched that show?
We started it, but we didn't love it. But maybe we would love it with the kids because somebody else recommended it too.
I would say watch it with kids. It's not, I mean, there is some like a little bit of adult topics in there, but it's enough that it kind of like goes over their head.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to bring that up tonight.
I kind of have a hard rule about like, don't watch SpongeBob SquarePants in my presence because it makes me want to like bang my head against the wall. And so I'm sure Marina appreciates that rule.
Yeah, because she doesn't want to be sitting watching garbage either. So I can see where that would be, that's annoying. Like to have to contend even with that at all. Or like, where are we going to dinner? And it's like the kids are chiming in. I think we learned early on, and I would say that this worked for us. People can, write us and say that's terrible, blah, blah, blah. But that you can't let them start to, if you both have kids, start to dictate what happens, or we're going here because he wants pizza. We're doing this because we kind of started this early on where when we're together, they're going to have a great time. They're going to come with us and do things, but the kids don't run the show.
Dictate what we're doing.
They don't pick where we go to eat. They don't, very rarely. There might be a situation where they both want something and then we're kind of like, okay, yeah, we can do that. But we kind of took that power away.
You're not going to 3 different drive-thrus because
no.
each kid wants the different thing.
Yeah, we're not getting hot dogs at there's none of that. Like if we go to Ponce City Market, Maria and I are picking where we want and they're finding something on the menu. And we used to not do that.
Smart.
But it just started to cause issues.
I mean, I can imagine when you got 4 kids and each one wants something different, or
totally. Or it's just
you got to pick last time.
You got it. That's it. Or even where you're sitting at the table. Like that used to annoy me because there would be this like rush to be, people wanted to sit by people and it's just like creates conflict that I feel like it started to like wear me down. And I think it became important for us if we were going to stay together to almost like be this united front of like, we're going to be happy first. I hate to say that. Like you guys are going to be happy because we're happy. And life is just easier in some ways. Like, they don't want to go for hikes. Like the kids, they like it for 5 minutes and they're complaining. A lot of people would be like, oh, Reed doesn't want to go, so we're not going to go. We go, and you suck it up and go. Anyway, that's how we do it, and it's working so far.
And like you didn't do like dating apps and stuff, so I feel like you didn't have to navigate that part when you were like in the dating world. But how do you think that part should be handled as far as like how soon do you announce it that you have kids or like let someone know?
I feel like you announce it right away because I just feel like to me it's a big part of who you are. So for me personally, I wouldn't judge anyone who didn't, but like if I was getting to know some woman and she didn't mention it and then it's like I'm into this now and she mentions it, I would start to worry, is this mother not a great mom? Like she doesn't care enough about these kids that they don't come up right away. But that's a judgment that I probably shouldn't have.
No, I mean, I kind of feel the same way. Like I would try to bring it up within the first like initial contact, just in passing. I wouldn't like make it a big deal. And I would also include like, I have joint custody. So, like I have them, such and such times.
Yeah.
And it kind of like lets them know like, okay, I'm a mom, but I still like have some freedom. Like I don't have them all the time.
That's actually that's important, because I think if people realize that, then they feel more comfortable about getting to know you, because they know that it's not going to be right off the bat, I'm a mom now to these kids, because that's not usually the case. Nobody's asking for that.
And I think even with people that don't have anyone else in their life to like help with the kids, like don't feel that way.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think they're shopping around dating being like, all right, this is your new mom or dad.
No. The other thing, I'm going to give a little piece of advice that you know who you are, so whoever needs to hear this. But when you have kids of your own, and I'm assuming even if you don't, but I don't know how that feels, but everybody thinks their kids are so amazing. I think mine are freaking amazing, massive accomplishments, all of them. It's super annoying if you go to a social situation and you are so focused on your kids, their accomplishments, like if that's all you can talk about, or it's even 75% of the conversation, it's so annoying. Like especially if you're somebody who has kids, because I think your kids are fine. I'm never going to think they're as good as mine. I think mine are smarter. I think mine are better athletes. I think mine are kinder. To listen to you drone on about your kids is like I'm rolling my eyes. I want to just give them some advice, and I think in dating it's important too. Like you don't do that.
Yeah.
Let people discover how cool your kids are.
That's kind of how I handled it. It was like I didn't want to sit there and talk all about like my kids and like all
it's a
that they
put off
do
to them, because maybe if they don't have them, it's a big put off. But if they do have them, it's also a put off. Like I can tell you right now, Melissa's got the best kids. So I'm just going to tell you that's not the one to go with, because I have been around lots of kids. Yours really are the best. So you don't have to say it. Like I can attest. They are very, very well behaved.
I train them well.
Very kind. I don't know if it has anything to do with you, but
I don't know.
They truly are.
I really don't. I just got lucky.
You got very lucky.
Sure. But you know, one thing I have done with my kids that I feel like it did make a big difference. And I started doing this once they were like able to walk, you know, whenever we were going somewhere. And I always talk to them like normal people.
Yeah,
I wasn't like baby talking.
You definitely do that.
When we'd be going to like, let's say we're going to a birthday party at something at someone's house. And like on the way there, I would say, we're going to so-and-so's house. And let's remember to like, that it's their house, you know, stay in the living room. Don't go wandering out all throughout someone else's house.
Yeah.
Don't go like in the kitchen and start like getting into food, you know, and just kind of like be mindful that it's someone else's home that we're going into. Or if we're going to a store, I'd be like, we're going in here, we're going to get these things. That's it. We aren't buying any toys today. If you want, we can go look at the toys, but we're not buying anything.
It's expectation setting.
Yeah, it sets the expectation. Yeah. And if they do see something like that they really liked, I would be like, okay, that's a great idea for your birthday or for Christmas. And like remind them like, oh, this holiday's coming up. Maybe that would be a good gift for that. And they let it go.
No, I think yours are, it's like nothing you people have ever seen. I guarantee that I know that they're not doing it. I actually thought about you last night as we're sitting in LJ, Georgia at this table, and it's a crowded restaurant, and the kids had gotten these toys. Before dinner, we let them go to this like little toy place, and there was, you know, those balloons that you blow up and you can beat the balloon. It's like an old-fashioned
They
toy.
smell like cancer.
Yeah, exactly. So Reed got that, and there's a table next to us. We're outside, but there's a table right next to us, and he's standing up, just beating the shit out of this balloon. Bap, bap, bap. And it's like the table's next to us. They're like on a date. And I literally am like, you are being so incredibly annoying right now to everyone around you. Like he didn't realize.
Yeah,
that,
like there's
spatial, like he's outside. So to him, it's like he's just having the best time. Maria's like drinking a beer and like not even thinking about it, and I'm like losing it. I'm like, I'm not having fun anymore because this is like obnoxious. And I totally thought about you because crossed my mind. Melissa's kids wouldn't have even gotten out of their chairs at this point.
Nope.
They would have been sitting there looking at the menu, calmly picking what they want to eat.
I mean, not to say that Brecken doesn't like slink under the table occasionally and like.
That's fine. Stay under there. Stay under there. No problem.
I'm like, get out of there. Like, my immediate thought is like, you're getting a bath the moment we get home. Because it's like the most disgusting place. But yeah, I'm also trying not to like pass off my germophobia on them.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. But don't you think, like, in a dating situation, if you're, so let's say you do go out with someone, now you've told them you have kids, you can mention, you know, a few things, but then I think if you keep initially the dating about getting to know you, part of you is being a mother, but part of you is a writer, part of you is a podcaster, part of you is a stand-up comic, you're all these other things, you're a daughter, you're a sister. So it's like, I don't know. I guess I would tell people in the initial phases, maybe keep it very general to all these other things.
I agree because I think as a mother, we can tend to just like drone on about our kids.
Yeah.
Like we want to talk about them because we love them and we think they're
so
fantastic.
Much. Right.
But not everyone wants to hear every little bit about your kid.
Especially
and
not
you're right. It's like throw in this other stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
yeah, my kids are 8 and 10 and they're in 2nd and 4th grade and leave it at that,
Yeah.
you know, like,
and I guess
move
to
on.
take it then a step further, now things are getting serious. Like with Maria and I, we were starting to get serious. Now the kids know each other and we're actually blending. And so at the beginning, I remember like having a lot of conflict around, there wasn't competition, but it was more like protecting them. And like when they would get in an argument, you know, there would be this like fierce bear mentality of like, I am not going to let my kids be slighted by this newcomer kid.
Yeah.
And so it almost sets up this adversarial situation, which is why we went to therapy and we learned how to, the kids can't run the house. Like it's not about what game we're picking and we're going to tell you guys what we're doing. And when we're happier, you're going to be happier.
How are you handling that stuff? Because I would imagine like there's a lot of situations where they're somewhere else in the house to playing a game and some sort of conflict happens and they're running to you guys.
Yeah.
Or one of you and saying,
so
and so did this. And like, what do you do?
At
like
the beginning, like it would be horrible. Like we would end up in wars. And I'm sure people can relate to this. Like they would come running down. One would be crying. One would be like nodding his head like he's lying or I didn't do that. And it would be like this horrible thing. And then inevitably we would get in an argument because it's just like you weren't there. You didn't see what happened. So how are you automatically thinking it's mine or vice versa? And like her little guy originally was younger and he was more, I think he'd never experienced real, you know, negotiating, like where you aren't going to get it every time. We're not going to do the game you want. So now you're upset and crying and mine's looking at you like looks like the bad guy all the time. So it's like that would create the situation of like, I felt like mine was being portrayed as the villain in every scenario and he was the poor victim. And that became like such an issue, but we did work through it. And I will say that like now that doesn't happen anymore. And you do get to a phase of, I don't mind, like in the early stages, if one of us would like brag, I'm going to say about our kid, or like, let's say one of them won something. It was almost like we weren't competing, but it was just like you were already annoyed with this kid. So now it's like, you're not rooting for them. I think that's the best way I could say it, is you're not rooting for them. If you're playing a game, I would feel myself rooting, wanting my own child to win. But it's like we stuck it out and we did what the therapist said, which is we were a united front. We took control. It's not up to them anymore. And little by little, I started to love him. Like, it's like, I'm excited when he's really good at piano now. Like I want to go to the recital because I've heard him practice and I know he's going to be good. That I would have never felt that way 3 years ago. And
that kind of feels difficult because it's like,
it is,
you know, this is not your biological child. Like you're kind of having to learn to love them.
Yeah. And it's like, they're taking resources. Like I think it's like primal in that, you know, if I was living in the wild with my cubs, there's a certain number of resources and I didn't want to allocate resources, you know, or I didn't want him to be just jumping in and getting his way. Like it bummed me out in some ways. And at the beginning you're playing house. So it's like, I wanted him to like being there so badly that I did it at the expense of my own early on. And then I started to really resent that. And so it was just this process of going from, I really resented him. I mean, I can say it. He resented me. We were not in a good place. And it took a long time to get where we are.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a big change for him,
Yeah, huge.
But then also for you, like I can't say that that was anything that you ever anticipated like doing in your life,
Never,
right?
never. And I couldn't
So
ask for an easier child. Like he's not, he's great.
he's sweet.
He's sweet. He's a listener. He's scared to
Yeah.
get in trouble. He's all the things. Like he's wonderful. But I think it's like early on, his worst qualities were coming out and my child's worst qualities were coming out, and it was making us crazy. And then you've got my two older ones that are also very protective of their baby brother who, are whispering in my ear that they're getting frustrated. Like it was not a healthy dynamic at all.
What would you do differently? Like if you had a chance to like go back and do that again, like
I mean, I guess like it's so hard. Like I think we moved in too fast, for sure. Like I wish we had given the kids more time to like know each other.
yeah.
I think we should have started therapy sooner. Like really gotten to the bottom of what the issues were, because I think it got bad. Really, to me, it's like it was so unhealthy before it got good. I mean, it's embarrassing to say that now. Like I look back at both of us, we were just like navigating as we went, and we weren't great, which is sometimes why I wonder why, like yesterday in the car when I'm getting frustrated, if the kids like somehow have carried on memories of like the early days, that difficulty of blending.
Yeah.
Because blending is so hard because you're having to root for someone who isn't always great to yours. That's what you're asking your child to do.
And then when they go to their dad's house and they go to Chris's house, like they don't have any step siblings over there. Though,
No.
like, do they kind of like that time because they do get a little break?
I think now, I mean, it's hard. Now we're in such a good phase that I feel like they're so excited to come back together. But what I would say that was hard was that like at our house, my little one would be getting in trouble because they would be warring. So it would be this like, he'd be getting in trouble. And then I would say to Chris, like, I'm worried about Reed. Like he's acting out in these ways. And Chris would be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. He's perfect here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have any issues with him. And then I'm like, God, is he so sad at my house that he's not doing these things? And then at your house, he's peaceful and feels great, so he's not acting out. Like, I had a lot of guilt about that. But I think he didn't have anyone to compete with over there. He had everyone's attention, and he's the little one. There's so many dynamics at play. Like, talk about yours when they go to your ex-husband's. Like, there's a child there.
It's one of those things that they have kind of had to learn to adapt with. I think it was really difficult for all three of them to navigate and get used to.
Yeah, it's so good for them, though.
It is good.
Yeah.
I 100% agree that it's great for them.
It
is.
is.
I think they've learned a lot, learned how to like express to how they feel, because there was times when they would come home to my house, I would mention one thing and then all of a sudden like Kaylin's in tears.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what the hell
going
happened?
on?
Yeah. And it's basically that all this little stuff happened over the weekend that she felt like she couldn't say anything about. And it just all comes to a head, know? We've had to work with her about that. If something's bothering you, talk to dad about it.
But it's like he's in a hard spot because I've been where he is, where it's like you don't know how to please your partner and please your children. Obviously,
right.
The children are your priority. You just got divorced. Like I was numero uno like person for them. I'm protecting them. I'm making sure they have everything they need. I want to know emotionally, are you okay? Like, how's your mental health? Like, what are you feeling right now? But it's like, then you also have this other person and their child that I'm sure his partner had feelings. So it's just like this whole dynamic of hard. And when my kids are here, I want to really be with them and be present.
Right. And that I think has been hard on all of them too. And I have brought it up to him, and he's done this where he does spend like solo time with them. And I think that's a great thing to do.
Then is the stepchild jealous?
Well, they try to do it kind of in a situation where like if she's with her dad, or like she gets to do a solo date with her mom, like that kind of thing. It's helpful to all of them to have that solo time still. have done stuff where I've like just taken Kaylin for the night
Yeah.
and Brecken stayed with dad, that kind of thing. And I think that's helpful,
So that you can keep them talking too.
Yeah, like, yes, because Kaylin opens up to me so much more when Brecken's not around.
Really? Okay.
She starts talking about stuff that's happening at school and like conversations her friends are having, like that kind of stuff. Otherwise, I think it's because, he is younger. He's second grade. And
Yeah.
so for her to be talking about these fourth grade things around him, it feels a little weird.
And she might also feel a sense of like protection of him. Like she doesn't want to like make him, she's not going to confide in him some deep, dark thing.
And also, I mean, she's in a different world right now. Like fourth grade, that's when kids start changing a lot,
Yeah.
Before that, everybody's friends. The boys and the girls, they're all friends.
Yeah.
Now it's like there's this division among the class. And I even said to her, I was like, I feel like that's around the age that boys just start being mean. And she was like, yes.
Okay.
Like she has 100% seen it. And it makes me kind of sad. Like I had friends that were boys when I was younger. And I remember like hitting that age and like they didn't want to be my friend anymore.
Yeah, they just were like, well, it's because they're having other feelings.
And it's like not cool, you know?
One of the things our therapist said to do is like when the kids have conflict, to practice taking the other kid's side. So it would be like instead of me rushing to defend Reed, it would be that I'm going to go into it with Oliver's my priority. And Maria would go into it as Reed is her priority. And it did like help us because I started to kind of see things through his eyes. It wasn't perfect, but I would say that like it was a way to kind of level the playing field more.
That's interesting. I think that would be really hard though, honestly.
Yeah, it is hard,
like,
but if you just know that's part of the therapy, like I'm going to do this, it forces you to kind of be the attorney for this kid that's like, I'm trying to find where he's right.
But again, it's like you said, I guess I never really thought about it this way, that primal instinct is to like protect yours.
And protect the resources, protect the money, protect the house, protect the food. Like it's allocation of resources. I mean, at a primal level.
And you have to like undo that.
And it's not, it's very, very, very difficult. And sometimes even now, like laughing, like I love because Reed is rougher. He's a boy's boy.
He's a boy's boy.
I hate to say that, but he's like shooting basketballs hard. He's nothing's light. And your kids, I noticed, even like if they're like holding an iPad, they're like gently holding it. They're gently passing you the water. It's like slow-mo. On everything is in slow-mo.
You're making it sound like my kids have been drugged.
I think she drugs them before I see them. But they're like moving in slow motion.
But they're really just not rough and tumble kids. They
not.
can get that way, like bounce off the couch and all that stuff, but they're just not rough.
No, and they move slowly and just like, they're good. They're just good. I don't know what to say. Like Reed comes barreling in like a hurricane. Their stuff's falling off the walls. So yesterday though, I looked out on the trampoline and I see Oliver jump. And then, like in wrestling, when you come down with your elbow on someone and like, I grab Maria really quick. I'm like, you got to see this. It's not just mine. Like, look at yours out there. Because
he's pulling out the wrestling moves.
She always like thinks that he's innocent and they were fine. They were having a blast. But it's like, I had to have her see that he does it too. Because like,
am I just not witnessing them like tackle other kids or something?
I don't know. Like normally Oliver would be like your kids.
Kaylin especially, she's just like not up for a competition at all. Like she's getting better about it. So often I've literally watched her like walk away from stuff. She's just like, that's too much. Like,
no, thank you.
Like I'd rather not.
Even when my older ones were a little bit younger, they would get in these fights sometimes, and one of them would be like, I can't believe you're not like help defending me. And I'm like, but I truly don't know what happened. Like, how do I dive in when I don't know? And so when you're blending a family and these two kids are like crying and upset and telling the story, and I can see both sides kind of, I don't know what to do.
I think that's tough. Like, honestly, I don't know, because I feel like with mine, I really trust them. I trust them to like really share truthfully what happened. And one thing that I do tell them is like, you have my 100% trust. I believe what you say.
Yeah.
But if you start making up stories or lying about something, like that
Or
trust is going to be
bending the
broken and I'm not
truth.
going to
Yeah.
believe you as much. Like
Right.
that whole story of like the boy who cried wolf. It's so true. And I just remind them of that. Like right now, like, you have my full trust. Like, let's keep it that way.
Do your kids ever act like something hurts more than it does?
Like a physical injury.
Yeah, like they'll act like they're more hurt than they
Oh,
really
my
are, and then
kids,
2 seconds
they
later they're
they're
fine.
so like they get hurt and scream at the top of their lungs, dramatic, like the whole nine. And I'm like, you literally just bumped your elbow.
Yeah.
Like
But do you
we've
call
got
them
to get an
out?
ice pack,
Okay,
you know.
no, you do the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm like
Okay.
fine. But I'm not like, oh my God, like freaking out. I'm literally like just keep the same like tone and like usually whichever kid is not hurt goes to get the other one an ice pack. Because
Okay.
again, it's a fucking after school special
It
at
is
my
an
house.
after school special. But let me ask you, what is that really? Because that's something we've dealt with where the kids like exaggerate injuries because I think they need attention.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm like, they really just need attention. And so what are we doing? I guess we're doing the attention.
I
Yeah.
do it to a degree, but I'm
Yeah.
not like, let's lay you on the couch and prop you up with pillows and take your temperature, all this stuff.
Okay.
Like, no.
I like that too because it also is just teaches them empathy.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to help somebody if they're hurt. I don't know. That's something we've dealt with our two is because like if they do get into it, it's like they both act like they've like egregiously been injured. And it's like, it's bullshit.
I mean,
And so-
I remember doing that as a kid. I'd like get hurt and be like, oh my God, my leg's falling off. But I think that's just it. You want attention.
But let's go. Let's flip it really quick though and talk about dating without somebody who doesn't have kids because I think that too it's fair to acknowledge that like it may not be as fun for them to
Oh yeah.
hang out with the kids.
Absolutely.
So
like
that can be hard.
I was just talking to Marina yesterday about like my kids are not playing soccer this season for literally the first time since they could walk. They were doing soccer. And first of all, they haven't noticed that I didn't sign them up.
Okay, that's very telling.
Which just goes to show how much they were really enjoying soccer. But Marina, we were driving by the soccer fields over by her place. And she was like, oh, that reminds me of like going to the games and watching the kids on the weekends. And I was like, yeah, like I was like, don't you miss that? And she's like, no,
not at all. Yeah.
not at all.
You know who was out on that field was me.
Really?
All weekend. Saturday, there for hours. So she doesn't miss going. And I will say, like, Maria says all the time, she's like, this is like consumes our weekends.
It does. And that's
Yeah.
one reason why I wanted to stop.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm tired of taking them to practice twice a week. And they practice at 2 different fields, 2 different times, and then going to 2 different games on Saturdays,
So
sometimes
would
on
it be
Sundays.
fair for your partner who doesn't have kids to just sit it all out?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And she wouldn't go every time. I mean, I wouldn't even go every time. You can't expect them to take on all that stuff. They didn't sign up to have kids. They were part of the whole decision. So
Right.
I can't expect my partner to step in and be that person too.
And couldn't you see too? It's like if you're somebody who didn't have kids and now you're dating this woman who does have them, that it's like you want your partner on Saturday to go day drinking and sit outside. It was a beautiful day.
Yeah.
And so I could see where that would be like start to be, you might have some built up resentment around how my weekends don't look the way that I envision them to look with this person I'm dating.
Yes, but like, however, I mean, in comparison, Marina is working on Saturdays a lot.
Yeah.
So like yesterday, I was just chilling out at home and I went
Yeah.
shopping for a little bit.
So you were
And
the one feeling like,
I was the one feeling like, oh, like this kind of sucks. Like she's
Yeah.
got to work all day and
Yeah.
I don't have the kids.
right, I could be doing something.
Yeah, I think it's like when you look at it that way, it's
Everybody has
I
something.
can't help that I have the kids.
No.
She can't help that she's working on a Saturday. I'm not going to be mad about it.
No, and maybe the job is just to reconnect then after everybody
Yeah.
has what they have. I have this today.
I mean, we all have obligations in life, and some, if you're a parent, then that's part of your obligation, just
And
like
it's
having a
even-
job.
And blending goes further than just blending children. It's also blending children with the partner. There's so much more to it. Blending my
Yeah,
children
like do
with,
they jive well together?
yeah,
Because I felt like that with some people that I dated that met my kids. They liked my kids,
but it's like
but my kids
awkward.
weren't really, yeah, they weren't really like connecting.
Yeah, I can totally
Um,
see that. Even like Maria's parents, who my kids like really love now, and like Oliver will see my mom and be like, "Hi, Grandma," and like hugs her. Like that took a minute, but they got there. But I would say like at the beginning, my kids with Maria's parents were almost like scared of them. Like my Tate would even be like, her dad is so intimidating. Like, do not leave
yeah.
me alone with him. Like, and now she really enjoys him. So
Yeah.
there's a blending that happens with all those people. There's so many players.
That's just it too. It takes an extra effort from the adult
Yeah.
to sit down and interact with the kids and talk to them and ask them questions. Like that's hard.
It is.
I'm
And nobody
terrible at
wants to
talking
do
to
it.
kids.
So am I. And it's like, I don't want to talk to them. I want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when I was a TV reporter, if I had to interview a kid, I'd be like, just shoot me
Yeah.
because I hated it. I couldn't get the kids to talk about anything. Like every time it was just like,
Yeah.
like yes and no. And I'm just like, how do you talk to a child?
Right.
And that's how I feel. I don't feel it as much because now that I have mine, I like know stuff to ask kids.
Yeah.
But you're asking someone that you're dating to come in and like interact and really commit to working to developing that relationship.
Right. And it's
Hard.
not even, it is hard. And I think, like you mentioned too, you're the adult. So you feel like you should be like above feeling jealous or above feeling like you shouldn't feel that way. You're the adult. That's the child. Of course, the child's going to sit by their mother. Of course, we're going to go eat where the child wants to eat. And it's like when
Yeah.
you have feelings of jealousy or like, I want to sit by the mother or I want to go to this restaurant, you feel bad because you're like, why am I such an asshole?
Yeah.
And I think like acknowledging that jealousy
Acknowledging
is
that
kind of
you're an
normal.
asshole.
Like, just acknowledge you're an asshole.
It's okay to want those things.
It's okay even to get them.
Yeah.
Like I think some of that is just like letting yourself off the hook. Like sometimes Maria will even verbalize like I just want to be with you. Like if I'm in a mood, it's because this and this are happening and everybody needs your time right now.
Yeah.
And so I think even as adults, we have jealousy of these kids. I mean, I think I told you the one time early on, like we hadn't been together that long. And her son basically was like, why do we have to be here? I want to be with your other girlfriend, your first girlfriend before me. And it was like a knife through the heart. It's like, dude, I'm
And
rolling out the red
sometimes that's just
carpet
it.
for you.
Sometimes I'm like, kids are mean with intention.
Yeah. He
You
was
know?
mad at me.
And it's like we aren't like we're sitting there like that's a child. They didn't mean to be that mean.
Yeah.
Like they're just saying like things with no filter. But it's like, no, I think sometimes
Totally.
they fucking mean it and they know it.
Yeah. Well, and I think he had his own process he was dealing
Yeah.
with, which was jealousy. And he had his mom all to himself. And now I'm here with these three guys that are like dying for her attention too.
My kid's stepsister literally in Marina's presence. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
what happened to so and so?
Yeah,
Why don't we
did
see
she-
her anymore?
What did?
And I'm like, shut the fuck up.
not only that, but it's like, why would she be angry at Marina? It's like, why?
Well,
is
I mean, she wasn't angry.
No, but it's
What-
just like,
oh,
why
yeah,
are you
yeah, I
giving
get-
a
I get
dig to
I
her?
think it was more to she knew she was going to get me in trouble.
Yeah. But why
I think
you?
I think
Like,
it was
you're
a
not
dig at
even-
me, or she just did it to stir the pot a little.
That's what I mean. It's just,
You know,
it's
let's just see
complicated.
what happens.
Yeah.
But I think I also maybe elevated a little bit in the step siblings world because of the dog.
Oh yeah. For
So
sure.
I think she likes me a little bit more now.
Oh, yeah,
she
that
gave me a
dog.
hug the other day.
Oh yeah, she's trying to really get in on that
Yeah,
Charlie.
but like Marina's over there making the effort with her too. Marina's whenever she sees her, she's like, "Come here, give me a hug."
Oh really?
I don't do that.
No, please don't
But-
give me a hug. To her, I'm
Right?
kidding.
Like
I'm kidding.
I'm just the kid that like didn't want the hug,
I
so
know.
I'm just kind of like,
It
I
is
don't know.
really, really hard. Like to validate everyone and anyone out there who you're mixing up kids. You go through phases where it's good, but it's hard. Our therapist
Yeah.
said this is the hardest thing you will do. Very few come out on the other side amazing at it. It's very, very hard. And I would say we still have challenges.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, I admire you guys for sticking it out and doing it because I can imagine that it is very difficult. It's so difficult that I was just like, you know what? I'm not even going to go down that path.
Yeah.
Not even going to do it. You know, I did date someone that had teenagers, and that was good.
Yeah.
Like, we really did make that work very well, I thought. All 4 of the kids got along really well.
Yeah, I think
but, I mean, her kids were great too, though. They were very like sweet, patient kids.
Yeah.
Smart, mature, you know, so that helped.
I think it just takes time and effort.
Yeah. And effort, I think, is the key.
Right.
Not just time, but effort.
Yep.
And really focusing on making it work.
All
We
right.
solved the world's problems.
Yeah, we did. Blending 101.
Want to support the Lesbian Chronicles podcast? Rate us and write a review on Apple Podcast or Spotify.
We love listener feedback. If you'd like to share your story, email us at melissaandalli@gmail.com. That's Melissa, MELISA, and Alli, ALLI, @gmail.com. Or follow us on Instagram at Lesbian Chronicles.